Hi guys, welcome back. So this is gonna maybe be a little bit of more of a conversational video about, I guess, a little bit of different topics. I kind of wanted to give my 2 cents on how I feel like this conversation about editing and books and like just kind of like my 2 cents and how I think higher education can maybe improve on things that I think us leaving university does not teach us or prepare us for in the future. Just some context, I am somebody that has 2 master's degrees. I have a master's in forensic psychologist, a master's in creative writing with an emphasis on screenwriting. So I have kind of a couple different views on this. But when it comes to the editing side, there's 2 types of editing that has to be done unless you have one person that's really good at both. But usually you have a beta reader, which is somebody that just reads your story, says, I like your characters, I like your setting, I like aspects of it. I feel like there's a good flow. I like your pacing, stuff like that. And then you have your alpha reader, which is somebody that checks for usually spelling and grammar. And what I'm thinking is happening in like the editing sphere, because of how I have dealt with this whole editing thing. I minored in creative writing as well. So I am not unfamiliar with the idea of writing circles, which is you get like a group of a couple of people and you sit in a circle and you read each other's work. But this is usually a level of beta reading. And then when it comes to the alpha reading, that's usually done by the student themselves, or like you go to your professor. Some students might help you in your writing circle, but most of the time, we're told just to beta read it. So I think when it comes to what is missing is, I would like to say the alpha is fine, even though, because obviously I went more the writing route than the editing route. So when it comes to what editors like get educated with, that's kind of a blank slate to me. I'm not quite sure. But if we had to take the idea, I would say like there's not enough beta reading getting done with these books, especially these like 800-900 like fantasy romance books. If you know, you know. But these books like really do not need to be this long. I can tell you that, and haven't even finished ACOTAR, but I could tell you that these books don't need to be as long as what it is being fleshed out. Obviously, this is not really about the indie scene at all. This is more about, just regular editing in general. So when it comes to something like that, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry, guys. When it comes to that, like, I think we're good. Like, I'm not really good at spelling and grammar, so I don't really look out for those spelling and grammar mistakes in books like a lot of other people do. But I've noticed that, that seems like it's at a level where most books I personally read don't have a whole bunch of spelling and grammar mistakes that would pop out at me as being somebody that, is not really good at either of those two aspects. So, but the beta is where I don't think we're getting enough love. And I think who's being really punished is sometimes like new authors, because I feel there's a lot of debuts I've read that I'm like, I really like that concept, but they need to polish this up by like a lot. And that's something like beta readers can come in and be like, okay, I like this character, but I don't like how they act in this scene, or this seems like out of character, or this doesn't fit your magic system. Because I think with a lot of new writers, like there's aspects that are really, really hard. Getting a good character, like making sure you're setting, making sure that, you're keeping to your rules if you have a magic system. Like, those are things that are really hard for a new writer. Me being a new writer myself, like, if you're just getting into writing, not from somebody that's like from like an educational standpoint, but if you're just starting writing, don't write your big epic. Like, write something that's like really short, like maybe 10 pages long, and really focus in on like a certain aspect. So if you're writing something like, let's say you just have like 10 pages of what the setting would be like that's like type of stuff that, like is important. Like, I remember a lot in my writing class, like we would do character profiles and stuff like that. I'm not much of a planner, but that's stuff that school really pushes you to do. I don't particularly, that's not the way I write. I just kind of write and then hope for the best. And some people do that. It's really okay. I don't blame either any party for how they want to approach a book. Like, that's completely fine. But what the educational system really needs to push is the importance of beta reading and the importance of understanding what makes a good story. Like, we should always, if we were in a luxury world where every book you picked up was like a 5-star, like, it would have perfect characters, it would have perfect setting, the magic system would never have, plot holes. Like, we wouldn't have plot holes. Like, and a lot of that is because beta readers go in and find all the mistakes. Like, I found with a lot of the books that I have grown and loved with, like, these authors have either their own team or like a fan base that's they can send their work to and be like, okay, like, let's make sure that there's no plot holes. Like, I know George R. R. Martin, I've seen a couple interviews with him. Brandon Sanderson does the same thing. But it's very important to have that outside point of view, which I don't think a lot of new authors have the courage to do. Because it's hard. It's hard to reach out to somebody and be like, hey, can you read like this paragraph for me and tell me how you think? And a lot of people can't take criticism. Like, it's a lot of these different aspects of writing that I just think, because of how these companies are going towards, like, what they're going towards, like, I don't think at any, like, these major companies feel like as long as something's grammatically correct, we're good. We'll publish it. People will buy it because of people's names. Like, and I think this really did start with Stephen King and him not. There's a couple of stories I've heard about Stephen King when it comes to his editing, and that's why his books are so long. A lot of it I think is to do with him himself. Like he just didn't want to, be critiqued, and he didn't want to take anything out. And there's a couple things like I've heard. I don't know if anything's official. I don't watch a lot of. I don't read Stephen King because I've started reading like The Shining. Like I'll pick up a Stephen King book and then pretty much put it down because I just don't like his writing. That is a preference of mine. You don't have to follow me. But something that higher education can do is put people in roles or help people with education, put people in these roles and start getting them into the field that they want. And this is also, I'm going to go on a little side tangent. This is kind of about my experience in psychology. So when I got my BA, I did sorry guys. I did an internship at kind of like a rec center. I don't know really how to describe it. It's just going to be a rec center. And I spent my whole summer, like Tuesdays and Thursdays, going to this rec center, helping them out. But I got some feedback back, but when it came to what I was trying to get out of it, I didn't get what I wanted, basically. And I had little help from my university when it came to that, because my university was up in Greeley. I was coming back home, and they did not really help me find a suitable spot for what I needed. So that was kind of a waste of an internship. And then when I went to get my master's, all it was book work. I did not have to do any internship or anything like that. And the thing is college students, we are broke. So it would be nice of these universities to either have somebody in the field in a lot of these classes, especially at this master level, like come in, talk to us type of thing, or to provide resources or even college credit to go out and volunteer and go put your name out there. Because it's like by the time I got my master's in psychology, which was in 2020, which you could imagine, like I didn't have any prospects. Like I did not have anything to like reach for or anything. I didn't even know where to look. Like I tried to go through my university again in a different state. And so that's something too. It's like I got my English degree, and it's the same prospect. Is like I wanted to be a professor at a university. I didn't really care which one, and I didn't even care if it was community college. I was not picky, and I was told no because we don't want to train. And the problem is that we could fix with higher education and make it more valuable is to have it to where whatever education system you go through, it has some involvement in the real world. So if that's volunteering, if that's, internship, if that's a paid internship, if that's a non-paid internship, part of me thinks, internships should be paid for because you're going there to work, but we're not going to talk about that. I guess because you're getting your college credit, they don't want to. But when you're thinking of higher education, the higher you go, the more college you have, the more experiences you need to have under your belt. So you need to have some type of either job, internship, some type of experience that shows like you're not just coming in with a degree. And I think a lot of colleges are like not fitting their curriculum to that. I think we should, because it used to be back in the day, like you could get a degree, sometimes just a BA, depending on, what you're trying to do, and you could go get a decent job. And education actually was valuable and was highly regarded and everything else. Now it's the opposite. Companies would rather have the experience and not the degrees. And that's what I feel like with editing, to go back to that, is that we're having people that have been editing for 20, 30 years still editing. So when it comes to going back to the beta reading, when it comes to the context of the situation in books, like, you have outdated minds looking at these books. Yeah, I mean, grammar and spelling do not change, okay? So, like, you can have a 30, 40 something, long career in that, and it's fine. But when it comes to beta reading and, what to cut and everything, we like big books when the page account a lot to, like, the story. Like, that's what we want as readers. Like, we don't want to have a 500-page book and only 200 pages be juicy. Like, that's not fair as a reader. Like, I hate when I have read, like, 400 pages. I have to